Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris. Today is all about Gourmand Perfumes, fragrances that smell like something you can eat or drink. It has been a minute since I did a video completely dedicated to gourmand fragrances, so that is the topic of today's video. So with that introduction, I'm just going to get started, but before I do, I want to invite you to let me know in the comments section what your favorite ultra gourmand fragrances are. Now there is one caveat. I'm going to do a video series completely dedicated to vanilla fragrances, those that are for vanilla lovers, and some more gateway or beginner vanilla perfumes. So the ones I've chosen don't have vanilla as the main note per se, but I tried to pull a lot of fragrances that featured a lot of different gourmand notes, so it just wasn't a plain, boring vanilla video. I did try to make sure I had perfumes in all price ranges, even though if you are new here and you're more interested in the more affordable perfumes, I just did a series of affordable fragrances. Please check out those if you are interested. And I have a Middle Eastern Arabian perfume fragrance video coming up. A lot of those are very, very price friendly. So the first one I'm going to talk about is one that I won't be wearing for much longer because it really is a perfume that smells like something you would eat over the holidays, and it's aptly named. I've spoken about it before. It is called Panettone by Milano Fragranze. I love this entire line. I don't think there's a single perfume that I hated or strongly disliked. Some of them were more up my alley than others. Panettone was definitely one of them, and it basically is a self-explanatory fragrance. This smells just like the panettone that a lot of us eat over the Christmas holidays. It is a spice, citrusy, Italian sweetbread. It has a lot of citruses. I detect citruses, but the type of citruses, the orange fruits and citruses, orange and mandarin, a little pop of ginger, and I think this has a little bit of honey in it. It just smells just like that beautiful Italian sweetbread and has terrific performance. I love it. Usually do not wear that in the summer because it just reminds me of the colder months, particularly fall and winter. The next one is one I've spoken about a lot recently. It's one of my favorite gourmands. It is called Acqua E Zucchero by Profumum Romum. This is basically spun sugar, fruity vanilla, and cotton candy. I fell in love with this when I went over to Italy. It was the perfume. When I went into the boutique, it was the perfume I sprayed on myself, and as I walked out the door, it was just wafting around me for hours, and it was really, really hot. And even though this is a very sweet perfume, it was just never suffocating. It has this light sweetness. I mean, Acqua E Zucchero means sugar water, so it is very sweet, but the fruits are very pleasant. It's got a little bit of florals in the background. I want to say like orange blossom, but it's not an overly floral perfume at all. It is a sweet perfume, sweet vanilla, cotton candy, fruity cotton candy, just yummy deliciousness, and a very affordable version of this. I mean, it puts you in the ballpark. It's not a dupe. Would be pink sugar. Pink sugar is similar. It just, to me, smells a lot more artificial. It's a little bit harsh. It's not as smooth. It doesn't last long at all, and this one lasts all day. So another one that I wear in the cold months, I've never worn this in the summer. I don't think I'm going to, but it is a delicious, milky, toffee, sweet, marzipan-y almond perfume that just smells absolutely scrumptious. When I first got it, it's got a little saffron in it too. I was kind of anosmic to it for like the first 2 months, and now I have no issues with it. I actually sprayed this once, true story. I sprayed this once, and I think it was in my testing phase, before I went on a hike. I went on this hike, I sprayed it in the morning, I went on a hike after lunch that afternoon, and I passed 2 people, and I was probably maybe 20 feet past them, and one of them called out, "Hey, you smell really good." And I was actually wearing Italica. So it has pretty good projection, pretty good sillage. It's very sweet. It's for those who really have a sweet tooth and like their gourmands to have a nice milky creaminess. But I love the almond in here because it's very marzipan-y, and it has this nice toffee sweetness. It just makes me want to drink coffee and have a holiday cookie or something nearby. I love it. Okay, so the next one is a perfume that was literally had cult status, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, long ago before I really got into perfumes, but I remember seeing this in the magazines and everybody was just loving it, and then nobody talks about it anymore. It is by Comptoir Sud Pacifique and it is called Vanille Abricot. Basically, this smells like a peachy apricot-y cupcake, a sweet apricot cupcake. Like you made your cupcake or cake batter and you took some apricots and you caramelized them in some sugar, and then you just put those in your cake or cupcake batter and you baked it. That's what I get here. It's just very, very sweet. Has a little bit of a caramelized sweetness. I don't know if caramel's in here, but I pick up on a little bit of a caramelized sweetness. The reformulations, I believe this is one of them because this is only about 2 years old, is not as strong as the original, but it's still a good one, and it really satisfies my sweet tooth when I'm looking for something that's vanillic and apricot-y. Interestingly enough, I can't do chocolate and apricot, but I love vanilla apricot, so this is a really good one. The next one is getting a lot of hype and attention this past year or the past 10 months or so, Ginger Biscuit. I even love the bottle. I couldn't wait for it to come back out again because I missed out on it the first time, and it is really a nice gourmand. I mean, it smells just like kind of the combination between a ginger biscuit and a ginger snap, somewhere in there. It's very gourmand. It's very literal. It doesn't smell very perfumey at all. And like all Jo Malone fragrances, it does lack in performance. So even though delicious, so you know, it's not going to choke anybody out. It's not going to choke you out. But you're going to have to really go to town and maybe reapply it if you want this to last all day. Because like I said, it is on the light side, but a very well ginger perfume, a very well done ginger gourmand, in my opinion. I just wish it lasted a little bit longer. Okay, another one I got when I was really in my cherry phase. I mean, I do like cherry as a note. I like all dark red fruits as a note. This one is a sweet cherry bomb. It just smells like sweet cherry syrup, and you must like very sweet cherry fragrances. It's Indecent Cherry, and I really haven't worn it that much. I don't know why. I'm just pulling from my other perfumes. But this is a very literal sweet maraschino, somewhere between maraschino cherry and a maraschino cherry booze. It's like cherry, more cherry, and a little bit of strawberry, some almond. It just smells like a liqueur. It has that type of a deep sweetness. I have had a lot of fun trying out these different fragrances. I will be doing a video on a lot of their new releases in a couple weeks. And this one is on the pricey side, so definitely try before you buy. I like everything. And I got all my samples at Lucky Scent. But if you really are looking for a super gourmandy, boozy, thick, sweet, rich, cherry fragrance with a little bit of supporting red fruits, this one is a good one. Another fairly new one in my collection. I think I've had this a couple months, but I got it after I did my big pistachio video. I did a video, if you did not know, based solely around the note of pistachio, and I was surprised how many pistachio forward fragrances I have. I don't need another one. I picked up another one nevertheless, and it is very pocketbook friendly. It is called, excuse me, Pistachio Biscotti, and it is an eau de parfum. I bought this on the website. Even though this is an eau de parfum, I find it to be light wearing, even though it is absolutely delicious. And I've always been looking for a good replacement for Laura Mercier's Almond Pistache. I can't remember. It was discontinued and I was so sad. This is getting very, very close to that perfume. It is also in the ballpark of a Kais fragrance I have. It's called Pistache A Frangipani or Frangipani A Pistachio. I was going to show that. I have that fragrance. It is currently in my daughter's backpack. She is really loving it also. So this one smells very, very similar to those two. It's very delicious. It is on the lighter side, but the good news is it's very, very, like I said, very pocketbook friendly. I know I paid less than $50. I want to say $38. And this is a 3-ounce bottle. And I went ahead while I was on the site. I don't know, I might have gotten free shipping if I spent over $50 and picked up the body butter, which I will say is absolutely delicious. So if you layer these, the longevity is going to be better. Still not bombs, but quite delicious if you really love a sweet vanillic almondy pistachio gourmand fragrance for gourmand lovers. One of my current new obsessions is by Soradora, and I waited forever to get this because I wanted to try a sample, and it seems like everywhere was sold out, but I finally found some decants over on Scent Split. It is called Jany, and oh my gosh, I thought I had every single apple pie-ish or that kind of genre fragrance that I could ever want. No, no, no. I've picked up 2 since I did that video like 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I'm so glad. This is an absolute stunner. So I've heard that this smells like an apple pie. I get something a little bit different, but this is one of the most yummy gourmands in my collection, and it definitely smells like a pie. Now take the pie and amp that up by 80%. So this is some sort of cake or cobbler or pie with 80% of that as part of the delicious crust. So it's very bready, it's very crusty, it's very cake-like. I get a ton of sweet butter-like nuances in here. I don't get apple per se. I get some sort of fruit, and I think it's more subtle. Maybe it's peach, maybe it's apricot, but it is in the background because the star of the show here is like this sweet, croissanty, buttery, biscuity, fluffy, flaky pastry of sorts. My mouth is watering. I'm going to have to get a cup of chai. Absolutely delicious. This thing lasts all day, and I'm so glad I picked it up. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of lemon gourmands. I should do a whole other video. I did a whole video based on lemon perfumes, but I could do a whole video based on lemony vanillas. I love that genre. So of course I'm going to be showing a lemony vanilla, and one of the most gourmand of them all, and one of my current favorites is right here, is called Bake. I did a side-by-side comparison between this and Devotion, which were supposedly very similar. I find a lot of differences. This is much more gourmand, whereas Devotion pulls way more floral on me. The orange blossom in that, I get a ton of orange blossom in that. So this to me is more of a literal gourmand, and the lemon is very, very tart. It's very prominent. It is like a lemon rind or a lemon zest, so it's quite strong. And it's just got like this beautiful vanilla in the background. It has whipped cream, so it's almost like a lemon cookie with whipped cream on the top, or a lemon cookie that you put on top of a small bowl of vanilla ice cream, because lemon's the star, but vanilla is definitely in the background. Very creamy, very sweet. And for a lemony gourmand, they don't always last. They don't always have the best lasting power. This one I have no problem, and it is one of the few gourmands that I would wear and I will wear year-round. Okay, another total gourmand that I've had for years and years before I even started my channel is by the fragrance house Kais, and this one is called Gateau de Carnivale, which basically means carnival cake. And let me tell you, this smells exactly like a funnel cake. Like if you ever been to a fair, or we have a little kiosk at the zoo, the first thing when you walk in, you get hit with the smell of funnel cakes, because they're brilliant. They have a funnel cake kiosk right when you walk in, and it is the most, I don't eat them all the time, I'm trying to be good, but it is the most delicious smell in the whole wide world. And this perfume right here smells exactly like a funnel cake, minus the deep fried aspect. This doesn't have that thick fried heaviness that a funnel cake has. This has all the lightness. So it's got, you know, vanilla, brown sugar, I want to say apricot, that gives it that little cakey vibe. I would say it has whipped cream in it. It just has that nice, sweet airiness to it. It's absolutely delicious. I talk about my daughter all the time. She's a teenager and she loves wearing my perfumes. She really is into gourmands. That's what she's pulling out of my fragrance wardrobe when she chooses something to wear, with the exception of, she's now discovered Baccarat 540, and I think she feels like a big deal when she wears it. But anyways, we were at the gym once, and I was like following behind her, and I was like, Holly, you smell so good. What is that? She was like, Mom, it's the one with the cake on the front. And come to find out, it was this one. She smelled really good. It was very light. It's not really a gym appropriate fragrance in my opinion. I mean, you don't want to wear it if you're running on the treadmill, and it probably wouldn't be pleasant, but it's very, very light, and it's very light, and it doesn't have fantastic lasting power, so it's not going to knock other people out, and it's not going to choke you out unless you totally cover yourself. I wish it was a little bit longer lasting, but while it lasts, it's very good. The next one I'm going to choose is this one right here, Caramel Pop by Vivamore. This one is currently my favorite gourmand popcorn fragrance that I own. I had What About Pop, and once I got this one, that one went up on the Mercari chopping block. I mean, how many popcorn perfumes does one really need? How many very, very sweet gourmandy popcorn fragrances does one need? Well, in my opinion, really one. And I have another popcorn fragrance that is in a totally different direction. It's leather, popcorn, woods. So having the two of them, I like that variability. But this one is just straight up, this is caramel popcorn, but it's very buttery. It's like you popped some popcorn and you poured some butter, you marinated that popcorn in butter, and then you poured some caramel on top of it. It's very, very gourmand. It's very delicious. And somewhere in the dry down, I get something like a fruity sweetness. I want to say like peach or apricot, somewhere in there. I could be making it up, but it comes out a little bit in the dry down. It's very sweet, so you have to like your sweet, literal, buttery, caramelly popcorn with a little bit of fruit. Longevity on this, I think I've worn it maybe a handful of times, is moderate. You know, I get at least 4 to 6 hours, and I'm so excited. This just came in the mail to me when I came home from visiting folks in Texas. I came home to a box from Navitus, and oh my gosh, this is another giveaway. They sent me one and they sent an extra for you. This is one of the best giveaways I think I've ever had because it has all of their new releases. Even though it doesn't have caramel pop because that's a Vivamore fragrance, it has all of the new gourmand releases that I have spoken about. It's got Baklava Royale, Monte Cassonade. It's got Lost in a Dream, Ile Extase, Ambrosia Imperiale. So, I mean, and a bunch of others. And their samples are huge. I would say Navitus carries my favorite discovery sets because they are so large. You know, it's not like this wimpy 2 ml or even worse 1 ml blotter sample. You will get plenty of wear. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested. I mean, how could you not be interested? The only thing is because it's so big, and I've run into some issues trying to send things overseas, particularly if you admit that you have fragrance in it. It's been really, really hard doing that overseas or out of the country. So I'm going to keep this US only, this giveaway US only, because it is so big. So very exciting. And if you haven't gotten your nose on this one, it's quite delicious. Very fun, sweet gourmand. So surprisingly, chocolate-based fragrances haven't been ones that I have been reaching for lately. And I thought that I have just over chocolate. I thought I don't like chocolate in perfumes anymore. And what I discovered is that that's not the case. I just don't like chocolate, and very specifically chocolate and apricot or chocolate and peach combined. That combination, for whatever reason, just turns my stomach a bit. And so I stopped reaching for chocolate fragrances. I thought, oh, I don't like them anymore. Nope. I've gone through my collection. I've been wearing some chocolate-based fragrances over the last week and realized I still love chocolate. I love vanilla a little bit more, but I just don't. But the chocolate has to be accompanied by anything else other than apricot or peach. And if that's the case, I get along just fine. I mean, this whole video could have been a chocolate-based video because I have so many, but the one that I wore the other day, I actually wore this to work, and I still really, really enjoyed it. It's chocolate greedy. It doesn't get any love anymore because, well, it's been around for so long, and I think people have just moved on, but I still really like it. It is somewhere in between powdered hot chocolate that you open the bag and that, the mist is aerosolized, or that powder, that chocolate powder is aerosolized, and you take this big deep breath. Between that and a bag of like Cocoa Puffs, somewhere in there. Now, it has other notes. I want to say dried fruits. Those don't really come out a lot on me. Chocolate is the star, but the chocolate is really nice and powdery, and I think that's why I really enjoy it. It wears lightly, and it does have a good dose of vanilla in here. And when I was wearing this the other day, I caught myself just I kept smelling my arm. And I had other chocolate fragrances because I was testing them. And the one I kept going for, it was this one and another one by Vivamore that I was enjoying the most. This is just so darn good. It's not a powerhouse. It wears lightly, but I got at least 4 to 6 hours out of it. Now at the 6-hour mark, it starts to become a skin scent, but I still love my chocolate greedy. The next one is another lemony gourmand, but this is a lemon caramel bomb and it's Unknown Pleasures. Another one I just haven't been showing a lot of love to, and I need to. It is basically, it's based around a stroopwafel, which is a Dutch dessert, which is one of my favorite little treats. I love it with a cup of coffee or a cup of chai in the afternoon. And a stroopwafel is like a thin waffle. It's a waffle kind of smashed down. You have a thin layer of caramel in between. So it's like this caramel waffle cookie, has a lot of lemon in it, lemon balm, a little bit of tea. And surprisingly, when I wear it, you know, different people pick up different things. Like my daughter picks up coconut in here. She says, Mom, you smell like a coconut cookie. And my husband says I smell like Thai food. So he's probably picking up the lemon and maybe even coconut. Powerhouse of a fragrance, lasts all day. I need to give it some more love. Let's see, the next one is another one that I haven't been showing a lot of love to, but I still really like it. I showed it for only one video. I want to say it was my blueberry video I did over the summer, Crumb Couture. Now this doesn't specifically list the note of blueberry, I don't think. I think it's maybe like blueberry compote or a blueberry jam. But what I get out of this is a fruity blueberry compote croissant. Like you had a buttery croissant you just took out of the oven and you smothered it with a very dark fruit compote, specifically blueberries, maybe a little bit of blackberries. But oh my gosh, very sticky sweet, buttery, fruity deliciousness. My only complaint about this, I love the way it smells, and it is for gourmand lovers. It's very gourmand. It just does not have great lasting power. So when I wear this, I have to wear either a body oil or a blueberry body cream, and I have a bunch of them. I have to supplement, and I'll have to spray this on clothes if I want to squeak out, you know, 4 to 6 hours. But still a really good gourmand jammy blueberry croissant fragrance. Okay, I have 3 more, and I could have had 50 perfumes in this video because I love gourmands, and I love literal gourmands and non-literal gourmands, but I wanted to keep it somewhere reasonable. I've got one that I talk about all the time. It's easy on the wallet. It's a body spray. I used to not do body sprays, but now I fully embrace them in addition to body oils or fragrance oils. I love them both. There's a time and a place. They're great on their own, or you can use them as a layering. Brazilian Crush number 71 is Deliciousness. This is a macadamia nut cookie that is drizzled with caramel. It's absolutely mouth-watering, delicious. It's very affordable, but since it's a body spray, it doesn't last all day, but I still love it, and I'm waiting for the body cream to come out. You guys need to help me send a note to Sephora or the headquarters of Sol Cheirosa and ask them to come out with a body cream. I promise it would sell. It would totally sell out within a day or a week. I know a lot of people are like me and can't wait for that body cream to come out. It would be delicious. Now the next one you're going to see in my Middle Eastern Arabian perfume, so I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on it, and I'm actually quite surprised that I love it because it is a very, very chocolate forward perfume, even though it's called Eternal Coffee. Now the name is a little bit of a misnomer for 2 reasons. I don't get coffee in here, and unfortunately, it's not eternal lasting. This wears on the lighter side, but I don't care. This smells like a liquefied German chocolate cake. That is my dad's favorite dessert of all time. So I'm very, very familiar with how that tastes and smells. And I'm a big chocolate lover anyways. This smells just like you put a German chocolate food cake in the blender and added a little bit of deliciousness, maybe a little bit of whipped cream, toss in some coffee, although I don't really get a ton of coffee, blended it up, poured it in a glass, and it's like a German chocolate cake smoothie or martini. It's delicious. I don't get any boozy notes, but it would make a good martini. If you could make a martini that tasted like this smells, that would like fly off the shelves. Again, it's quite delicious. It's chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. I get a lot of chocolate, a little bit of coconut, and some vanilla in the background. And very, very affordable. I think I picked this up for less than $30. And I think I have one more that I'm going to do. Now, even though I said I wasn't going to concentrate on vanilla fragrances, this is called So Vanilla, but it has a fabulous note of gingerbread. So I had to show it for today's video. So this is another kind of a citrusy vanilla, but it's a darker citrusy vanilla because of that very heavy gingerbread note. So to me, this smells like you melted down a creamsicle because this has orange or mandarin in it, very, very prominent. And that's the citrus. It smells like you took a creamsicle, you melted it down, you got it nice and warm, and then you took a gingerbread cookie and you dunked it in the melted ice cream. It's very, very good. This has a little bit of florals in the background. I do pick up on that. So if you only are interested in gourmands and you hate fragrances that have even a little bit of florals, you may not love this because I do pick up a little bit on like a neroli or an orange blossom way in the background. So, I mean, this is like 60% citrusy vanilla with 35% gingerbread and maybe 5% of a floral note. So if you're real sensitive, you'll pick up on it, but it's absolutely delicious and it has really good lasting power. And I think I'm gonna stop there just to keep this on the reasonable side. I hope you gourmand lovers out there enjoyed this. I hope your time spent with me was enjoyable. Don't forget to let me know what your favorite truly gourmand fragrances are in the comments, or if you don't have any gourmand fragrances, which are on your radar, which are the ones you are dying to try. And also don't forget to sign up for one of the best giveaways I think I've ever offered my followers. Again, this Navitus Discovery Set has some amazing fragrances. Again, the only qualifications are you have to be a subscriber. I mean, hello. And live in the United States because it's a little bit bigger. It's going to cost a lot to ship, and there's no way they're going to let me ship something this big that's fragrance oriented overseas. So thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching me. Thanks to all who support me. It means so much to me. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.